Today we're going to be doing this loaded sweet potato, which ought to be pretty easy for anybody who's just starting out, and fairly familiar, recognizable. Over here we have my food camera. You can see me waving at you. Okay, so I've just already put this baked sweet potato on a plate. Just like fun facts. I'm a little bit of a food nerd. Okay, I'm warning you. Baked sweet potatoes and yams in the United States are pretty much the same thing. They're interchangeable. We use those words the same way. You can have candied yams or you can have candied sweet potatoes. We just have certain way we use the two words, but they really mean the same thing. Sweet potatoes, or yams actually, yams and sweet potatoes really are two very different vegetables, two very different types of roots. They're from two totally different families. One is actually from the iris family, that's yams, and one is from the potato family, which is the sweet potato. We are working with a sweet potato today specifically. This is called a red garnet sweet potato. There's lots of different types of sweet potatoes. I'll show you 3 different types now. This is a Japanese yam, okay? Dark red on the outside. And I'm just going to cut the tip off so you can see. Oops, white on the inside. Still sweet, but not as sweet as the orange sweet potato, okay? This is like a regular traditional sweet potato. You all probably know what that looks like on the inside. That's what we usually use to make sweet potato pie or candied yams or something like this. Red garnet yams are super sweet, very velvety texture, and really flavorful, okay? So we're just gonna start the bake. This yam has already been baked, obviously, and I scrubbed them before I baked them. Most people probably do that too, because they can be kind of dirty coming out of the ground like that. So I just kind of cut it open and mash it up. Other thing, for loading sweet potatoes, choose a potato that's more shaped like a football than shaped like, a sausage. This one is a little bit funky shaped, longer, chunky on this end. But you want to choose something that's going to be easy for you to load and fill, okay? We have all kinds of stuff over here to fill it with. One of the things I'm going to show you right now is these are soaked cashews. I've been soaking them in water. I actually put them in water overnight because I had a lot going on. But you can soak them for, an hour. The raw cashews soaked, we use to make cream, okay? So I am actually going to turn around. My blender is right behind me, and I'll tell you about making the cream, which we're going to use to load this sweet potato, okay? I'll take the soaked cashews. I'm going to take some medjool dates, which are also soaked. Here, I'll take these out of the water. You can see that. Okay. About 3 or 4 medjool dates is plenty. And I'm going to use just a little bit of orange juice today to make this cream. I'm going to turn around. It's probably going to get a little bit noisy because I'll be using my blender, okay? I'll be right back. I don't know if you can see me back here. So you put the cashews in. We're going to put the dates in. The dates actually have pits in them, so remove the pits and the blossom end or the stem end before you put it in the blender. That's 4 dates there. And I'm going to put in, this is about a 1/4 cup of orange juice. The blender actually likes to have a little bit of liquid so it can process the ingredients. This is a high-speed blender because really your average everyday blender may not be able to handle the bulk from the nuts too easily. Okay, here we go. Pardon me, a lot of noise coming up. I want you to see the consistency of this. Hopefully, there we go. You can see that. See how creamy that is? Okay. So we're going to start with, these are hemp seeds. Hemp seeds are good for protein and your omega-3s. And we'll just sprinkle those inside the yam. They also give it like a little bit of a crunch for texture. Next, let's say, oh, I know. We're going to use a pear. This is a red pear. They're available this time of year. So one of the things we say about eating whole food plant-based is you're going to eat the rainbow. You want something from every color as much as possible. And I will add to that, my own personal belief is you need to eat something from every part of the plant. So if you can get the fruit, nuts, seeds, flowers, leaves, stems, roots, bark, all of it. It all has different functions and carries different types of phytochemicals, chemicals that are in the plant. It all has different vitamins, nutrients, all of that. I will also say one of my favorite tips, and you were asking about tips before, one of my favorite tips is have a sharp knife. There's one thing about working and eating this way is you do a lot of chopping. With a sharp knife, and you can increase your knife skills as well. So I'll take the pear and just put it inside the potato. May not all fit, that's okay. It can fall around the outside. Any fruit will do for this. Let's see. I'm going to take some walnuts. Walnuts these days have been recognized as super valuable for brain health. So I'm going to put some walnuts on top. You can see that better. Let's see, maybe that's better angle. I also happen to have, just because, I go in the grocery store and I look for different types of fruits. I try to buy one new fruit or vegetable per week, sorry. Every time I go to the grocery store, I try to get one something I haven't tried before. So it tends to have me getting pretty exotic these days. I've been eating whole food plant-based since I was 15 years old. And so that's a fair amount of time. I just turned 60, so I've been at this a long time. And I'm pretty adventurous with how I eat. So there are some oranges. These are Cara oranges. They're pink flesh orange. Let's see what else we have here. I'm going to put some cherries on. These are actually frozen cherries, which I have heated up. Really easy. Oops. I want that down in there. And I'm going to pour a little bit of the juice on just because I can. Why not, right? I wouldn't want to waste that. All right. And now I'm going to take some of this cream. Put that on top like that. I'm going to take a little bit of coconut, this unsweetened coconut. Put that on top like that. And I'm going to take just a little bit of cinnamon, because we can, right? I mean, one of the things about eating like this is to experiment, enjoy the flavors. It is likely that if you're brand new to this, you may have never tasted some of these vegetables. We tend to eat the same vegetables all the time. We eat spinach, we eat celery, we eat carrots, we eat white potatoes, we eat yams, we eat apples, we eat, there's certain things we eat all the time. And the rest of that produce section, you may not even know what 3/4 of the produce is in the produce section, right? So this is a very different, it can be a way to experiment and really learn more about your food, right? Okay, so that is the loaded sweet potato. You can see how that looks. I find that just absolutely appetizing. It smells delicious. You wouldn't believe it. Okay, I'm gonna move this from the food cam, And I'm going to actually take a bite of it because I think that's always the question, right? All right, it looks good enough. How does it taste though, right? Let's see. I got some of the yam. I got some of the orange. I got some of the cream. Mm, wow. Ooh, girl, that is good. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad it's lunchtime because this is going to be it for me. The walnuts, let me try it again. A little bit of walnuts. I got a little bit of the hemp seeds, the oranges. I'll try some with the cherry on it. Mhm. You can't argue with that. You cannot argue with that. That is gorgeous. Oh my goodness. You have all the flavors. You've got a combination of textures. You've got some of the crunch from the seeds. You've got a little bit of bite with the pear. You've got the creaminess with the cashew cream. You've got a variation in the little bit of tart with the orange. You've got a little bit of sweet with the cherries and the sweet potatoes. And there's no, there's nothing missing. This was actually a translation, my personal translation of a recipe that was created by a friend of mine out in Washington State. Her name is Chef Katie May. She's a whole food plant based chef. I work with her every week and help her with her classes and her, what's going on with her as she's teaching. She works also at some of the great centers for whole food, plant based, water fasting, and all of that out on the West Coast.